It's the fastest produced vaccine ever. It's using an entirely new technology to vaccinate us. And here's why you should take the COVID-19 vaccine today. The purpose of vaccination is simple. It teaches our body how to kill the virus as soon as it enters our body, but before it can infect us. Diseases like polio, measles, smallpox, and many others have vanished off the face of the earth with the advent of vaccinations. The COVID-19 vaccine, however, is different. It uses mRNA. But the question is, how does it work?
It all begins in the nucleus of our cells. The DNA is a set of instructions to make different proteins, which are the tools for doing all of its work. To make a protein, the DNA copies its instructions into a special molecule called messenger RNA, or mRNA, and this can take the instructions outside the nucleus where the cell can make the corresponding protein. In order to make the COVID-19 vaccine, the scientists focused on a particular spike protein that was characteristic of the virus. This spike protein was used by the virus to enter cells and was completely harmless. The scientists figured out the instructions to make this spike protein in the form of an mRNA strand, and they put a protective lipid coating around it. And just like that, we have the COVID-19 vaccine. When the vaccine is injected into our bodies, the lipid coating fuses with the lipid membrane of our cells, inserting the instructions to make the spike protein into our cells. Like any other mRNA strand, our cells read these instructions and start manufacturing the spike proteins. And remember, the spike protein is just the virus's ticket to enter our cells, not the actual virus that causes harm. Now let's take a look at our immune system. The immune system is designed to destroy anything that is foreign in our bodies, whether it causes harm or doesn't. Within almost all of our cells, a protein called MHC1 takes any protein it finds and brings it to the cell surface. Our immune system is consistently scanning these MHCs and makes sure all the proteins are our own. If they detect a foreign protein like the harmless spike proteins, the immune system carries out three main tasks. The first task belongs to the killer cells, which destroy the cells with the foreign spike proteins. At the same time, the B cells figure out a way to let the killer cells know to destroy anything with the spike proteins. They do this by creating an antibody that specifically attaches to the spike proteins, nothing else. The production of these antibodies is the entire purpose of the vaccine, as they tell our killer cells to destroy whatever they bind. The third step is the memory cells, which save the spike binding antibodies just in case these spikes were to ever reappear. And that's it. Immunization has occurred without ever contracting the virus. Now, even if the actual COVID-19 virus was to enter your body, your memory cells see those same spike proteins on the outside of the virus and know exactly what to do with them. They release the spike targeting antibodies to bind to those spikes, and the killer cells are immediately informed to destroy the virus before it can cause any harm.
Picture this. If going through the coronavirus symptoms was a race, the vaccine puts you past the finish line before the race even starts. And the harsh reality is, many people don't even make it to the finish line, which is why vaccination is so important.
Let's take a look into some misconceptions.
The vaccine was developed way too quickly. There's no way it's safe.
Yes, this was the fastest vaccine that was ever produced. But we must take into account that there have never been this many cases allowing for clinical trials. We have never had this many people working on one vaccine at once, and we have never had the prior knowledge like we do at this time about previous vaccines and about viruses to help in the development of this vaccine.
Can this vaccine alter your DNA?
Well, the COVID vaccine is an mRNA vaccine. This means that the mRNA is able to get into our cells, but it only stays in our cells' cytoplasm. It does not enter the nucleus where our DNA is stored. Therefore, the mRNA cannot alter or interfere with our DNA.
This vaccine is made using the virus, so it can give you COVID-19, right?
No. What makes a virus so harmful is its ability to get inside of our cells and replicate itself, which can then infect other cells. The tools required for replication are actually found inside of the virus. However, the COVID-19 vaccine only uses the spike protein that's found on the outside of the virus, and therefore cannot replicate itself or infect our other cells. Ultimately, the vaccine cannot give us COVID-19.
If we already had COVID-19, should we still get vaccinated?
So this one is a little more complicated and is still under investigation. However, the CDC does recommend that as many people as possible do get the vaccine because there are cases and there were cases of reinfection.
Alright, fine. A healthy person should get vaccinated. But surely it's too dangerous for someone who's immune compromised.
If anything, it's the immunocompromised that need the vaccine the most. Remember that the vaccine is only capable of teaching our cells how to kill off the virus. Therefore, it's even more crucial for the immunocompromised to get this training.
So are you saying if I do get vaccinated, I don't need to wear a mask or social distance anymore?
Unfortunately, we still have to undergo these precautions. This is because there is no vaccine that is 100% effective, meaning that there is still a small chance that the vaccinated could get the virus and therefore carry it and possibly transmit it to others who are not vaccinated.
We all have to do our part to close this chapter of our lives. Like masks, vaccines are for the betterment of humanity, not just yourself. So get vaccinated, cross the finish line, and let's end this race once and for all.